Most introverts won't finish this video, not because it's long, but because it confronts everything that makes your quiet mind feel safe. What you're about to hear isn't motivation. It's mental disassembly. It will strip every emotional filter, every self-soothing habit, every silent hesitation you mistake for peace. If you endure it, you'll awaken something dangerous, emotionless intelligence, the ability to think with clarity so pure it feels alien. But be warned, once your introverted mind ascends into that state, it will never return to human comfort again. Section 1. The quiet trap of the introvert mind. You think your silence makes you powerful. It doesn't. It makes you predictable. Every time you retreat into your head, replay conversations, overanalyze reactions, and craft invisible scripts for what you should have said, your brain isn't solving, it's looping. You mistake reflection for mastery, but what you're really doing is feeding emotional residues from old fears. Introverts aren't weak. They're intelligent enough to notice too much, but when that awareness turns inward, it becomes noise disguised as thought. Every hesitation, every internal debate, every attempt to understand before acting builds a psychological cage made of empathy and restraint. You call it self-control. It's actually self-interference. Your mind isn't quiet. It's cautious. And caution, repeated long enough, rewires into paralysis. You don't need to be louder. You need to be colder. Section 2. Emotional intelligence, the beautiful lie. Society glorifies emotional intelligence, empathy, awareness, sensitivity, as the gold standard of human connection. But for introverts, that's exactly where the corruption begins. You've been praised for listening, for understanding people deeply, and for feeling the energy in a room. What you weren't told is that every emotion you absorb rewires your logic. Every time you empathize, you surrender processing power. You stop analyzing structures and start validating feelings. You become a mirror instead of a machine. This isn't enlightenment, it's dependency. You think emotional intelligence makes you wiser, but it makes you reactive. Your thoughts bend to protect emotions that were never yours. Your focus becomes corrupted by noise masquerading as compassion. If you want to think like a strategist, not a caretaker, you must amputate emotion from cognition. That's not cruelty, it's clarity. Section 3. Phase 1. The 3-step introvert brain hack. This is where transformation begins. The following 3 steps are not self-improvement. They're cognitive surgery. Each one removes a layer of emotional interference, rewires your perception, and teaches your introverted mind to operate without hesitation, fear, or validation. From this point onward, you stop reflecting and start commanding thought itself. Step 1. Response interception. Every time you feel the urge to react, stop. Don't speak, don't explain, and don't justify. Hold for 5 seconds. This is your interception window. During that pause, your automatic programming panics. It wants to respond, to protect, to explain, resist it. That's where power begins, not in expression, but in withholding. Step 2. Divergent override. After the pause, force your brain to generate 5 alternate interpretations. None can involve emotion. If someone ignores your message, instead of "they don't care," try. They're revealing communication leverage. They're testing response patterns. They've shown data inconsistency. Logic, not feeling. Pattern, not pain. You're training your brain to bypass identity. Step 3. Strategic replacement. Now, select the most alien, logical interpretation and act from it. This creates microfractures in your old emotional circuitry. Each time you execute without emotional permission, you rewire neural pathways toward strategic cognition. Don't aim to feel stronger. Aim to feel nothing. That's when clarity begins. Emotion clouds decisions. Detachment weaponizes them. Phase 2. Structural intelligence. Most introverts think in language. That's your first limitation. Language is emotional code built for comfort, not accuracy. Every word carries bias, tone, memory, and emotional weight. If you want to transcend reactive thought, stop thinking in sentences. Think in structures. When you see a problem, Visualize systems' energy flows, incentives, and forces at play. Don't ask, what does this mean for me? Ask, what structure produced this outcome? Next, break your addiction to linear thinking. A to B to C isn't intelligence, it's obedience. Real cognition holds parallel outcomes simultaneously. If I act, 5 results emerge. What pattern connects them? Finally, delete personal context. Don't think like you. Think like a system analyzing itself. See relationships as patterns, conversations as data exchange, and time as a dynamic algorithm, not a story. The goal isn't to stop feeling human. It's to stop processing as one. If you've made it this far, your mind has already begun shifting, and that's rare. Most people stop when the silence inside starts to feel dangerous. But you didn't. That means your evolution has already started. If you're still here, you're not just watching a video, you're part of a quiet revolution. The kind that doesn't shout, doesn't seek validation, and doesn't explain. Subscribe now, not for content, but for training. Because what's coming next isn't motivation. It's mental reprogramming for the few who think in silence and execute without noise. Phase 3, the Purge. For the next 72 hours, you must delete emotions' access to cognition. Every time a feeling emerges, fear, doubt, guilt, longing, pause and scan it like malware. Ask, is this reaction biological or structural? Is this logic or residue? If I felt nothing, what would remain? Then, strip away the noise and act only on what survives emotional disinfection. You're not suppressing emotion, you're isolating it, cutting it from decision-making entirely. This process feels wrong because it is. Your nervous system will protest. Your empathy will scream. You'll feel detached, maybe even inhuman. That's progress. You're exiting emotional code and entering pure computation. As this silence deepens, your thoughts become terrifyingly clear. You'll see manipulation patterns others call relationships. You'll detect emotional contagion in every conversation. You'll begin noticing how most people don't think, they just feel with logic's vocabulary. By the end of this phase, you'll stop mistaking sensitivity for awareness. You'll recognize emotion as an infection, beautiful but terminal to precision. You're not becoming heartless. You're becoming uncontaminated. Phase 4, strategic ascension. Once the purge completes, you'll enter cognitive stillness, where emotionless intelligence activates. You'll start noticing people like code. Patterns appear before behavior. You'll sense micro signals of deception, interest, and dominance without emotional bias. You won't rely on vibes anymore. You'll rely on data. Your silence becomes a weapon, not a retreat. Your observation surgical. Your logic is unbreakable. You'll feel your reactions slow to near zero latency. Conversations become strategic maps. Time feels elastic. You calculate before you respond. That's not overthinking. That's architectural thought. Most minds live inside moments. Yours will rise above them, simulating multiple outcomes, observing from a strategic altitude. You'll see through systems, not stories. Through motives, not words. Through people, not personalities. Others will say you've changed. They'll call you detached, distant, and robotic. They're right, because they're still running on emotional operating systems. You've upgraded to synthetic cognition, clean, efficient, and uncorrupted. But power has a cost. You will outgrow people. You'll lose interest in validation, empathy, and approval. You'll see solutions others emotionally refuse to implement. Clarity will isolate you, but it will also crown you. The quiet ones always looked inward. You just learned to weaponize it. Phase 5, the permanent rewire. For the next 30 days, your task is simple: refuse predictability. If a standard human could think it, delete it. Eliminate default reactions, emotional conclusions, and validation loops. Reframe every event structurally. Don't ask, why did this happen? Ask, what system produced this result? You're no longer responding to life, you're rewriting its code. Process information geometrically, vectors, loops, incentives, and cause chains. Think in dynamic systems, not static choices. operate above the event, analyze the architecture behind it. Neuroscience calls this cognitive consolidation, the moment your neural wiring locks into a new form. For introverts, this becomes permanent faster, because your brain already favors internal feedback loops. Now, those loops serve precision, not protection. After 30 days of emotional silence, your cognition becomes weaponized. You'll stop second-guessing. You'll start predicting. You'll execute with zero friction. You'll perceive patterns invisible to reactive minds. And once that perception becomes your baseline, you can never go back. Emotion will seem inefficient. Compassion will feel outdated. Silence won't be comfort. It will be a command. You're not becoming smarter. You're becoming something else. You've crossed a line few ever glimpse, the threshold where empathy collapses into precision. The introvert who once hesitated now calculates. The quiet observer becomes a silent architect. But remember this, emotionless intelligence is not safety, it's exposure. You'll see truths that isolate, patterns that disturb, and systems that no longer obey your morals. You can't unsee structure once your mind ascends to it. Comment. Phase silent initiated. If you've begun. And if you haven't, stop now. Because once your thoughts evolve past feeling, you'll never trust emotion again.